Yeah, well, Louis, we call him like the wild thing. Remember the old movie, Major League? So once we get a lead, he comes out of the bullpen. So it was a night that we scored late. So Louis out of the bullpen and down there in the 5-on-6 and battling with Kopi alongside Kopi and Juice. So we didn't do it because it was a thousands game for him. We did it because that's his job, and he's been there a lot of times, and they were able to get it done again.
I mean, you've been in the game for decades. When you think about all the players you've done, you think of another guy that's reached 1,000 games the way that Lewis has. He doesn't, not an enforcer. He's not a scorer. He's just a really trusted. I mean, I guess maybe Kirk Maltby comes to mind.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys like that.
No, that's right. It's hard. It's hard to get there because the style of game that those players of Maltz you mentioned too. That it's such a physical game. It's a grinding game. So your body's on the line, and a lot of times for these guys who play 1,000 games, you got to stay healthy. Never mind, still have skills and legs that are able to contribute. You got to stay healthy, and when you're a physical player like that, it makes it really difficult. That's whether I think it's a little more rare.
Did Darcy steal the game for you?
Of course, flat out. I thought it was probably our most lopsided game. Frankly, it wasn't a great game for us. Yeah,
30-13.
Yeah, I believe it. I think after the second period, our forwards as a group had 4 shots on net. So, yeah, Darcy stole it, but, that can happen. I can remember earlier in the season we had a game, I think it was against Chicago, that we probably should have won. We ended up giving one up late, and they beat us in overtime. So you hope that they balance themselves out, but we'll take it. Darcy was outstanding.
Yeah, earlier in the season we talked about good teams finding ways of winning games they don't play great. You've done that 4 or 5 times now after tonight. What has been the key for you why you guys have found success in the games you didn't play that well?
I mean, at first you got to look at the goaltender every night. I know probably the Dallas game was another one that was similar. I don't even remember who was playing goal that night, but you look to your goaltender. So we talked about it after 2. Darcy gave us a chance. Game was still tied. Darcy would give us a chance to even have a chance, and so great play by Turk. We need somebody to make a play. Turk makes a great play. Juice finishes, and then we hang on by our fingertips.
So Trevor Moore's first game back seemed to really find his legs as the game went on. What did you think of his first night?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the end, we moved the lines around, and they had to go against points line, and Moorsey probably played a little more than I was going to play him out of the gate, but just for certain circumstances, we weren't having a good game. That was obvious. We discussed, and we needed somebody to try and just contain that line just a little bit, and that's a good job for Moorsey. So I thought did really well his first time out.
You have Kopi and Phil who are known for kind of doing that, but it was Q who had that matchup all night. Like, what did you maybe see in him or trust in him to handle him or give him that matchup?
Well, I think Q was, everybody was, really excited for Q. He had a great preseason, scored a lot of points, and everybody was thinking along those lines where, we were thinking, no, I mean, he's going to score points, yes, but he's got to play a good two-way game, and he can. And even when he wasn't scoring, I know there was a lot of people talking about he's not scoring, but he was getting better and better defensively. So he wasn't cheating, and he was learning the position defensively in the NHL all over again. And he got ahead of his defensive game, got ahead of his offensive game. Now he's scoring a little bit more, but his defensive game is really solid. So we've thought for some time that he's going to start taking on some of the tougher matchups. And, him and Fogues are a pair. Fogues is a penalty killer, a good forechecker, checking type player, dependable. So for us, it was a natural progression. This wasn't just all of a sudden. We've had this in our mind for a while. 3 of them can do it, and they'll do it on different nights.
Maybe we'll ask the same thing. How relieved to see Joel Edmondson come back to the bench later in the game?
Yeah, very relieved. That was that where you're going to? Yeah. I mean, it just really didn't look good, did it? And it was good to have him at the end, and he missed a lot of time, so he wasn't going to go out and play, but he still wanted to be on the bench at least and bring it home to the boys.
Mikey Anderson played a little over 11 minutes in that third period, a lot in the last 5. Some of that was probably Joel Edmondson's injury, but to have a guy that you can lean on like that for those tough minutes, how big is that for you as a coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, where Mikey's game, we've talked about him a lot. Where Mikey's game is gone, where it is tonight, when I didn't think we had many of our players, I didn't think we had a lot of guys that were even up to an average level for the way they play. And for somehow, some way, Mikey was elite, with a group that really struggled. So, yeah, power to him. Power to him. Well, he's playing some hockey, boy.
What do you think of Kev's game tonight? I had a couple of nice plays late, a couple erratic ones, just overall weird impressions of his game.
Yeah, he was, I just thought he was kind of like our group. I mean, nobody jumped out at me, besides Mikey and Kemps, for sure. But nobody really, you know, I thought if we were to evaluate what we typically contribute in a game, I thought we'd have a tough time hitting the average for most of our players. And so I thought Kev was just in that mix. Nothing wrong, but we just had like 16, 17 guys there. So in that case, you're gonna need somebody to really step up, which was Kemps, and I thought Mikey as well.
When Eddie went down, usually it's him, Gabby, and Mikey on the PK. Eddie's out. Jordan Spence steps in on that big kill. I mean, how big is it to have guys like that who maybe don't play there regularly but can step up kind of when they need to?
You know, that's a good point. Probably Spenny would have probably got his average tonight, or maybe slightly above. So he was probably another guy that, in the absence, he played 20 minutes. I think you mentioned it. Yeah, he played more than he usually does. So I would say Spenny gave us some minutes there too. But you know, when you're not clicking or you're off, it's hard for when 4 or 5 guys on the ice at the same team are not bobbling pucks and nothing was clean. It's hard for anybody to get a lot going. So you just got to play defense and try to hold the fort. And you know, that's what we did.
You mentioned you need someone to make a play, and Alex Turcotte obviously makes a great play there, but is there anyone on this team you want to see that puck fall to more than Adrian Kempe? I mean, when that puck falls, where you just set the goal?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, in that spot, he's the guy you want shooting. There's no question. He's the guy you want shooting. So it turned out, and Turk just made such a good play. It was the second effort on the play that really was impressive, and kind of across the middle was where he might get hit, and then to find him, tough play for the goalie too, because it happened quick, and Juice was coming in right off the bench on a line change, so a lot of momentum. It's a really nice goal. It's the best play we've made, obviously, all night offensively.
We always talk about the race in the division. Is this team has what it takes to make it to the Stanley Cup?
I hope so. We're going to see. There's a long ways to go, for sure, but I hope so. I like how we're playing. We're certainly going to give ourselves a chance. Best we can. Best we can.
There were a lot of slow breaks kind of from Tampa, so we were able to see that 1-2-2 pretty well. What have you liked from that compared to the 1-3-1 that we saw last year?
I think we get to skate a little bit more. I really do. I think even though we're in it sometimes, also in waiting, you know, maybe not in the same 1-3-1 structure, but standing and waiting sometimes. I just still think where the players set up, they get to skate more. And I think our team is a good skating team, puts us in a better position to skate.
Did they give you a hat to go with your shirt?
I do have a hat.
Good.
Yeah, I thought I would keep it classy and not wear the hat.